to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
Hi, Joe.
In this episode, what's funny, sir?
I was talking over you.
You were
Hooray.
talking over me. Why? Anyway, in this episode, we're going to discuss the movie The Game from 1997, directed by David Fincher. And it stars Michael Douglas, Deborah Kara Unger, Sean Penn, and James Rebhorn. So, Joe, what did you think of The Game?
So the game has reminded me how much I appreciate Michael Douglas as an actor.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen some things with him in it, but I've not seen nearly enough, in my opinion. He's a good actor.
He is.
That said, this movie was a bit of a ride, overall.
In a good way, or?
Yeah, good way.
Okay,
Good way. It's definitely a lot of hard lefts, hard rights, kind of hard to keep up, kind of predictable, but then when you get that comfort of prediction, it just kind of slams the door in your face kind of thing. And I really enjoyed that. The premise of the film is interesting, and it's I guess if you think back to other episodes, Ned, one of the biggest critiques I have of films that I don't like is how they blow things out of proportion, right? Like the realism of things doesn't like shape up, right? Like we talked about Speed being one of those, and this does the same, but I think I accepted it a little bit better because this was, essentially screwing with a billionaire.
Right.
And I have to imagine that billionaires' lives are over the top. So therefore, some of this could be believable, So I didn't get taken out of the film for any of that so much in this film. So
they did a good job of introducing you to that and the fact that it is a game and he's essentially being messed with the entire time.
Well, you think that, and then you don't think that, and then you think that, and then you don't think that, which harkens back to
the ride.
Right. Which I appreciated. They did a really good job with that. So again, Michael Douglas did a great job. Sean Penn did a great job. Is it Deborah Unger? Is that how you say her last name? She was great. I don't know that I've seen her in anything before. At least her face didn't come off as familiar to me. I'll have to look and see if that's true.
You may have seen her in a few things.
Okay.
Potentially.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen Silent Hill?
I have not.
The movie? Okay, then
No,
maybe
you would think I would have, but I have not.
Okay.
Being a video game guy, but also it's a scary movie. I don't do scary movies, Ned.
We might have to take you there then.
Oh no, you're gonna drag me to it.
Maybe.
Fair enough. I mean, that's what keeps this podcast going.
True.
So she did a great job as well. There were some nice visits from actors that I've seen, I think, in like television shows, and in fact, perhaps from video games. Ned, do you know who I'm talking about there?
I do. I was actually going to ask you to see if you recognize.
Yeah. So Michael Douglas's father is played by the voice of Mario. Wow, the old voice of Mario, Charles Martinet, which is pretty amazing. Yep. I'm trying to find the guy's name. There was two of them in here. James Redbourne.
I called him
I'm
out.
familiar with him. And then the other guy was from the show about the biker gang that I can't think of the name.
I know who you're talking about.
Flanagan.
Yeah.
Tommy Flanagan. He was in, what was that show? Why can't I think of the show? I watched it all. Oh no, my brain no function.
Yeah, I know which one you're thinking of. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh, anyway, y'all that are listening or watching are probably flipping out right now, like yelling.
I mean, honestly, they know. They know who you're going for.
Right. But it's interesting to know that scar is actually on his face.
Yeah.
Because he has it in this movie.
He's had it in pretty much every movie I've seen him in.
Yeah, I don't know that I've picked him up in other ones so much. So anyway, there's a lot of actors and actresses in here as well that, like I said, I kind of seen in other things, and it was kind of nice to see them in this. So much like movies of their times, this definitely cries out 90s. Flip phones, the tube TVs, things like that. But what I would say they do a great job with is some of the practical effects on things. One of the things that really caught my eye is like when he is at home after he signed up for the game and they're manipulating the TV guy, right? And how they're able to kind of basically do almost like what we would would see as like AI, right? Things don't track completely correctly, but it's close,
Hmm.
eerily close. That makes you uncomfortable. So that was really well done. The idea of, wireless cameras tracking him and being placed in locations, pretty cool. This almost feels a little bit too, in a way, kind of I don't know, almost like a predecessor to, well, I mean, it is a predecessor too, but a predecessor to Saw in a way as well, of how this being a game. And in some cases, these are life or death
Right.
situations he's put in,
Yeah.
which is part of, again, I think what really like messes with you as you watch this film, right? Like, they say, oh, you're going to get keys. You won't know where you're going to need them and where you're going to put them, but, you're going to need to collect them. And, that happens once with the elevator. And then he gets that winding knob that I figured was probably for a record player or something. And it ends up being the knob for the taxi that gets thrown into the river. So it's very, very wild, like how the game evolves as he's quote unquote playing it.
Yep.
Man, like it's interesting to me. I don't know about you, Ned, but like thinking through this, like I think I would have died of a heart attack halfway through
Oh
playing the
yeah,
game.
for sure.
The stress levels, like I probably would have stayed in Mexico if I woke up in a mausoleum underground. Probably would have just stayed there and be like, hey, they can't find me here. I'm gonna stay here. This is where I live now.
They can't fuck with me here.
That's right. Well, they could because they put me there, I guess. But yeah. So the story, I love the story. I think overall, it's a great premise. It's well executed. The ending's a little, abrupt, but I wasn't upset about that. I think again, I look at it as being like that lavish billionaire lifestyle, kind of
Hmm.
thing, like chuckling about like all this bad stuff that happened and like, oh, let's drink champagne and have a good time now, kind of thing. Sure, maybe that's weird shit that, billionaires are into. I think I look at this too as like a another take on that whole billionaires get to do what they want kind of thing. Typically I've seen this before in like the trope of billionaires hunting people for sport
Right.
kind of thing.
Yep.
Like they're above the law. This kind of takes it the other way of that the billionaire signing up himself to be the game, I guess. Or the hunted, I should say. So, it's again, and kind of hammering it home here with it, but I really thought the story itself was really well done.
Good.
What are your thoughts on that? Did you really like the premise of the story, and do you think it held
Oh
up?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen this movie multiple times now, and it's always fun to go back and watch this one for me, and just see the way things unfold and see something different each time. So,
Do they hide like Easter egg type stuff in here? Do you
um,
notice?
not necessarily, but it's just my experience, and especially if I don't watch it that frequently, but going every probably 5 years or so, go back and watch this
Okay.
one, and yeah,
Yeah, I was curious if it ever like if there were ever like things in the background or foreground that you see on the second time around where the kind of like foreshadow or you know what I mean, like some movies would do.
No,
But
I think like Fincher just does a very good job of like taking you through everything and the way things and sets are structured and things are shot. Like it's pretty obvious kind of like what's trying to be presented, but he controls what you're seeing and how you're feeling very well.
right. I think it's another thing that now you say it, I appreciate about this film is that is kind of simple.
Hmm.
It doesn't take a whole lot of brain power to follow what's going on. Like what's happening is happening. Yes, there are those twists that you do think about a little bit, but they're abrupt and they're quick and they lock you in until you're not locked in again.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of like that too. It's kind of a nice, like relaxing. I mean, for it being a thriller, it's
Hmm.
kind of a relaxing thriller to watch.
Yeah.
In a way.
Also, kind of like a mystery of like, is he really getting messed with, or is he just a joke? Like, I don't know. I feel like the first half of this movie did an amazing job. The second half, I also really enjoyed, but I see how it's a little bit of a kind of cop out type thing. Like, did you really accept the ending as it was?
I mean, I at first I was like, what is this? Like when he
Hmm.
lands on that airbag,
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, like they should have just left it that he died. And then like you look at it and you're like, oh, his dad died because the same thing, maybe,
Right.
leave it that way. But then, like I said, let's all have drinks and then let me hit on the lady who kind of played mind games with me the whole time.
Right.
You know what I
Never
mean?
gave me her
It's
real
like
name. Like, yeah.
right, kinda odd ending, but, again, I kind of accepted it just from the this is how crazy lavish billionaires might live their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like how smart it is in certain aspects as well. Like, is it CSR or SCR? I'm trying to, or
It's CSR, I think.
is it
Or is it
CSR?
CRS?
Yeah, might be CRS. I can't remember. But anyway, I like how they move constantly. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a thing. I like how they have actors out and about and planted everywhere, you know, to kind of keep the story moving and accounting for like possible changes to how things may go, right? I think
CRS.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
CRS, okay. I like the one move where Christine's telling him that, you know, they seized all of his assets
Mm-hmm.
and he calls his well, he calls the bank and, you know, does his like verbal authorization to get in to check on everything, and they're like, oh yeah, it's everything's or no, they said everything's gone, right?
Yeah.
But that was him actually calling an intercepted line and giving his password to hackers or to, you know, a different company, and then him calling his lawyer and his lawyer saying no, all the assets are fine because they actually were, but then, you know, them playing it as, oh no, the lawyer's in on it too, and just more mind game stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of social engineering, I think, which I appreciate
Yeah.
how that plays out.
Agreed.
So yeah, so that again, they do a really good job with the whole left turn, right turn, hold on to your butt. You know, you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Side of things. I think the cinematography was done really well in this film. There's a lot of what I appreciate is I don't know what you would call it. There's probably a name for the shot, but a lot of like when Michael Douglas is kind of losing his mind, not like losing his sanity, but like stressed out. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of like panned back circling around him kind of shots, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Disorienting
know, I really like,
type.
yeah, right, like blown out, trying to, yeah, disorient you. I like those. They do those really well. They do some of the shots from, you know, perspectives of objects. You know, like there's from the doll when he brings the doll in, they do some shots from the eyeball to show the cameras there. They do one from the smoke alarm.
Mm-hmm.
They do one from the tire of the one vehicle that popped the tire when he's chasing after his brother. So I really like that too. A lot of nice framing in the film. So I think they did a good job there as well. The music, I think the music was done really well. And in fact, I really like. I want to call it specifically, I guess, the use of the White Rabbit song.
Yes. Yep.
That's such a menacing song in a
Him
way.
him coming home to the whole house being like blacklit and
Graffitied.
yeah.
Yeah, with White Rabbit just blasting.
Yep.
Super, super cool. You know, and even them using it in the credits at the end too. Like I appreciate that as a way of kind of wrapping the film up. The other like non I guess non pop music, pop culture music, it was done really well. Did a good job at building the suspense, building the anxiety of certain things.
Yeah.
So I think it was really well scored as well. Not so much scored in a way that like I'm gonna go listen to this in my car radio,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it paired well with what was going on in the film. So
Nice.
appreciated that as well. I'm looking through my notes here to see if there's anything I missed that I wanted to call out. Oh, I did want to say we talked about there being like Easter egg type things. I don't know if this is necessarily an Easter egg, but I don't know what your thoughts are on this. When he's in the airport, getting ready to leave for his trip,
Right.
he goes to the bathroom because his pen blew
Yeah.
up.
The pen leaked.
Yeah. Now I feel like the pen leaked somehow from them, right? It was
It
the
was given to
CRS
him. Yeah.
pen.
Yeah.
Right. The idea being that it would lead him to that bathroom, right?
Right.
And that guy asking for toilet paper, I feel like was implanted there as well. Do you agree? Or do you feel like that was do you
I'm
feel like that
assuming
was
it
like
is.
a
Yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of comical. Yeah.
Right. And it makes me wonder like would things have changed if you would have done that? Because it almost felt like that whole game that he was playing. Well,
He's
and I
being
guess it's
tested.
confirmed at the end too. Is he's
Yeah.
being tested and also trying to be humbled,
Right.
right? Because his brother said like, "Well, I had to do it because you're kind of being an asshole," you know.
Right.
So I'm wondering like if he would have like helped people along the way, would it have changed how things would have went down? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm curious on that as well.
Yeah.
I also appreciate too another scene I want to call out, and then I think I'm out of notes. notes is when he breaks into the CRS headquarters where it moved. Well, I guess it's the same building, it's just a different floor, right? They move floors. When he goes into the cafeteria and he sees all the faces that like were kind of haunting him
Hmm.
throughout the game, and they're all like uptight staring at him, but none of them are like nervous looking at all. Like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
I like that because they call out like soon after that they basically like made sure all the guns in the area were like disabled, right? So nobody could get hurt or whatever. Like that was a nice, I think, homage to that down the road of like, oh, everybody was kind of freaking out, but they're not like terribly scared.
Yeah.
Because they know it's all blanks and stuff like that. So so again, yeah, I think that was another nice like tie-in to what was going on the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it, Ned.
Good.
What did I miss?
I don't think you really missed anything. You hit on all the major points of the movie. I do love Fincher's like vision with this movie altogether. And, you know, he is a person that reflects on his movies and he is ultimately kind of dissatisfied with the ending. I feel it works and kind of leaves you in a state where this is one of those movies that, I don't know, you might leave the theaters kind of like rethinking your life. And like, especially since, you know, he was kind of stuck in his routine, being the big boss man and, you know, being controlling and being very much in control of everything in his life, where the game takes all that away from him, puts him in like a panic state, paranoia, all that stuff, where he isn't in control anymore. And I think they did a very good job of using that to kind of show him that maybe it doesn't always have to be in control. And there's actually a quote from David Fincher about this movie where they said, or he said that ultimately this movie was a mix of like three movies, where it was fashionable, good-looking Scrooge, lured
Okay.
into a Mission Impossible situation with a steroid shot in the thigh from The Sting. So those three movies, Scrooge, Mission Impossible, and The Sting, were all elements that he was really kind of aiming for. I don't know if I could say he entirely gets there with this movie, but I definitely feel elements of all those. Would you agree?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with the Sting, but I feel like the other ones definitely fit in 100%.
Yeah, but in general, like the whole control and him losing it and possibly getting a new perspective on life.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
enjoy any movie that can kind of like get me into a state of mind where I'm like second guessing things myself and like, am I stuck in a routine? Like the movie Wanted, that movie and how he ends up just, you know, working a desk job. They use the Nine Inch Nails song, Every Day is Exactly the Same. I really enjoy things that shake things up a little bit like that. And in this one, you know, he definitely has kind of that Wall Street mentality, which, you know, he was in the movie Wall Street. So it definitely suits him to kind of come and play a similar character initially. And then obviously things just go sideways from there. So I really enjoy that. I
Yeah.
also appreciate kind of the business savvy that we're introduced to, where, you know, the one guy's like, can I get that as a promise? And he's like, I don't know that word. Like just in general, not making promises as a businessman is
Right.
something I've kind of grown as I've worked in the industry. And, you know, I'll say I'll see what I can do, but definitely no promises.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the parallel there. The whole thing with like his father's death and the way they handled the flashbacks, I kind of appreciated. Like you weren't being told anything per se, but you were seeing and observing and understanding what was going on. And then the fact that he's turning the same age as his dad was definitely plays a pretty big part into how things unfold later on.
Right.
And then also having a brother that's maybe not as well off and, you know, struggling with addiction and all that stuff. You know, I'm sure he's had to deal with that enough and is kind of sick of his brother's stuff, you know, but
Right.
ultimately he's like, I'm going to make time for my brother, schedule a lunch. We'll see where it goes from there. And then I also really appreciate the scene where, you know, he ends up at the girl's place and like everything is just like a facade and fake. And he notices that ultimately there's a sales tag on the lamp. It's essentially going to be caught on fire by the light bulb. Definitely not
Right.
LED lights being
Nope,
used there.
definitely not.
So just everything in how this movie was structured and shot. And you mentioned the music. Michael Douglas is amazing in this. Sean Penn, for the little scenes he's in, is amazing as well. Deborah Unger does a very good job as well. Like all around, even the supporting cast is great. So visuals are amazing. And yeah, I don't know. I was really going to question whether or not you would catch the father and who he was, but I'm happy you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good. Well, I'm happy to hear you enjoyed this one. It's definitely a wild ride. And it's one I definitely go back and watch, you know, as I said, probably every 5 years or so. I did watch it a
Yeah,
little bit more recently than that because my wife hadn't seen it. I was like, you got to see it. So
yeah, I'd like to think that this will be on a, you know, reoccurring theme for me as well.
nice. Very nice. All right. Are you ready to score this movie then?
I am. I
You
am.
want to start us off?
Yeah, so I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
Oh, that's a good score.
I did. Yeah. What did you give it?
I also gave it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, we synced up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really appreciate what they did with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, all right, well, all right. So let's talk next recommendations, Joe. I think you said you have one.
Yeah, so I think I want to watch The Sting.
And why do you want to watch this thing?
Well, so Mr. Robert Redford recently passed away,
Yes.
and I was talking to my mom about that, and she was reminiscing about going to see the movie The Sting and recommended that we watch it.
Yeah, we did just mention that a little bit in this podcast already. So
We
I'm
did.
done.
That's pretty wild.
And then after that, it's going to be Halloween time. So I want to throw out a recommendation for us to do back-to-back movies and maybe even back-to-back-to-back movies.
Oh
But
my lord.
for the week of Halloween, how about Hubie Halloween?
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, deal. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads and Facebook at To The Movies Pod. And we are also on YouTube at The Movies Pod. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for dragging me to this game, Ned.
No problem. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.